we are in a new month. It is actually June, which means we have a new topic that we will be trying out. So June is going to be our Make It Up series, which is basically what we do every day, but this time it is strictly about makeup. So we have a couple different programs. Each week is going to be makeup focused. Some of the things are going to be making makeup. So there will be super fun, crazy things you can do with makeup. So today, Claire and I are making our own makeup products. I'm gonna be really honest. I have a lot of notes on this one, but not a lot of confidence. But
we're gonna try it anyway.
That's why
because how hard could it be, Gabby?
We're gonna find out. Okay. So, Claire and I are kind of gonna take turns because we're demonstrating a few different products. And then for our last one, we're going to try the same product using two different recipes, two different ingredients lists. So we can kind of test out which one works. And luckily there's nothing like boiling or baking this time, so I won't burn that down.
Exactly. Alright. Let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the first recipe. And this first recipe is to make your own base foundation and blush. It's essentially the same exact thing. It's going to use very similar ingredients, but this is very much a trial and error because it's going to be dependent upon your skin tone. Everyone has a wide variation of skin tones, and you just add in the ingredients as needed depending on what your preference is and what looks best for you. So we're going to be using a couple of main things. The main ingredient is arrowroot. So this is a little difficult to come by. I had to scour a couple different Woodmans in order to find it, but Bob's Red Mill does make a pretty large packet of arrowroot. I'm going to be adding in a couple of other ingredients based on my skin tone because I want to make sure that this is a usable product for me.
Hey, real quick, where in the grocery store did you find arrowroot? What section is it in?
This I found over by, I found this in Woodman, so it was over by like the other like organic and natural foods. And it pretty much in so you can try baking aisles, you can try, depending upon where your grocery store is, you're going to find it by the other different types of flour, like cornmeal, flax, almond, that type of thing. So it's worth finding though. So most of the recipes I found online do use arrowroot. You can find it in any kind of brand. The only brand I happened to find it was Bob Red's Mill. And there's a couple of things that I'm going to add into my mix because I'm pretty pale, but I'm not like arrowroot pale. So in order to add a little bit of color, I'm going to be using things like cocoa powder. I have a little bit of a yellow tint in my skin. At least that's what Mary Kay has told me. So I'm going to be using things like turmeric. And then I'm going to be adding in a little bit of beet powder. So this beetroot powder is really easy. All you have to do is go buy a beet at the grocery store. And I separated it. What I did is I sliced it into, I used one to slice into kind of slices, obviously. And then from there, I dehydrated them in my food dehydrator. You can use your oven. It works just the same until you get these nice crispy beetroot chips, which make an excellent snack. Or, feel free to grind them up. To grind them up, I had a coffee bean grinder that I ended up using. And then anything that was kind of left, I just continued to grind up in my mortar and pestle here. So you can see a little bit of that left over. And I'm just going to grind it up until it's a really nice fine powder. Let's see if I can show you. So it's this nice fine powder, and it's like this nice kind of dark berry tint. So those are the things I'm going to be mixing in. Be sure to save your beet juice for later projects. I will show you how to do that. For this project, I did end up using canned beets, which seems to work just as well as regular beets, because my grocery store didn't have regular beets. So there's a lot of substituting you can do. So it's all a matter of playing around with it. So
one thing to note is that beet juice can stain, so be sure to cover your surface either with like wax paper. You can wear gloves, maybe an apron, because that's the whole point, right? We're using it in these products to cover the parts of our faces, because it does have staining qualities.
Yes.
So just be careful.
Don't wear your brand new shirt when working with beads.
Don't do it on live camera.
Yeah. So, other things to keep in mind when you are making your own makeup, especially if you're using natural products like these, they are perishable. We're not adding any kind of preservative or anything like that. So if you are going to be making this, make sure you make them in about 3 weeks to 1 month batches, depending on how much fast you go through makeup, because it will spoil. So for this, I'm just making a little bit. So.
Yeah, the other part of making your own beauty products, so like Claire said, we're not adding any preservatives, so it will go bad. The other part is also to be really careful about not adding water, whether that's water from like your finger or your brushes, if you get them wet first, because you can introduce bacteria in your product by adding water, even if it's accidental. So, and then also be sure to know how to properly store your product after you get it. So one of the recipes that we're going to make later, mine says to store in your refrigerator. Okay, great, I can do that. Other ones say like store in a cool, dark place. Great, I can do that too. So you do need to do a little research before you dive into some of these recipes, just so that you're doing them safely. And the other part I was mentioning, skin tones and skin types, like if your skin gets really dry or oily, that'll also kind of determine some of the products you use. Also, if you have any allergies. So be really careful to fully read the ingredients list before diving in. A lot of them will give you, when I have been research, there were a lot of substitution options for the majority of the base products. So if your skin doesn't react well to one of the ingredients, make sure to find a suitable substitute.
Yeah. So. And make sure that you do your research and see these are the most commonly used ones, but they're not the only used ones. Also thoroughly research before you just go to your spice cabinet and decide to put cinnamon on your face. Some things aren't going to work well.
Yeah, so there's a difference between food grade and cosmetic grade for a lot of these products, right? Yeah. Claire's using spices and arrowroot. I'm going to use coconut oil later, and there is a difference between food grade and cosmetic. So just be sure that you're getting one before you put it all over your face.
Yes.
Or before you eat it. It works both ways.
Right. All right, so here you can see it's mainly arrowroot, and then I just added a little bit of each of the colors, and I'm just going to whisk them together and start seeing what kind of color I'm going to get out of that. So you can already see when I'm mixing them together, I'm already getting a lighter beige color there. And that's the nice thing about using the arrowroot, is that it does mix well with all the different colors. That you're not going to get I wouldn't suggest using like flour or cornstarch, things that aren't going to necessarily be nice to your skin. And they're also not going to mix the color well enough. Yeah, you can kind of see. There's part of the arrowroot that's the white versus the mixed stuff. So I need it to be just a little bit darker, so I'm just going to add just a smidge more cocoa powder. And if it gets too dark, I can just put more arrowroot in, and it's all a matter of just mixing it until it becomes close to your skin color. Oops, making a mess here. That's half the fun. So I can kind of show you. You can kind of compare it to the color of your wrist and see how that's working out. So I think I just need just a little bit more turmeric and a little bit more beet powder. It's not quite pink enough. And you can see I've splashed a ton on my skin, so I can go ahead and just test whatever mess I'm making. See how well it's going to go. Other things.
I'm trying to like watch. My screen is so far away, so I'm like, what are you doing?
Other things to keep in mind, that this might be a great way for you to have kind of a sustainable way to make makeup. But just know that it's not going to be, you know, like the all day wear type makeup. You are going to have to reapply. You are going to have to readjust. It's not meant to stay on your face. So there are plenty of tutorials online on how to make your own setting spray and setting powder as well. So it's always worth a shot.
Yeah, a lot of the reviews that I was finding recommended doing like a homemade primer before you put these on, just to kind of help it with vibrance and staying. Most of them just, you know, use an aloe-based product, so that's also nice and natural too. We're not doing that today, but we're not worried.
Something also to keep in mind is that this is a great way to save money. So like normal foundations, if I put this into a palette, this is about the same amount that I would get in my palette that I spend probably about $15 to $25 on. Where the arrowroot cost me $8. This was like $2, another $2, 80 cents for the beet. So for the same price, I can essentially have a year's worth of makeup. As opposed to just a month.
That was like a big bag of arrowroot. So I mean, you can just keep making these,
right?
Definitely one of the things when Claire looking for recipes. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, now you can see that, like, if you put that into a palette, it looks like something that Almay would have made.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. But one of the things that Claire and I were doing research to prepare for this and looking for recipes. A lot of the blogs were like, this is tricky. It might take you a little while to get the hang of it. So I don't know, that's one of the first things of like, right, we do it where we'll fail for you so that you can fail better.
Fail better.
And then the next step, right, you'll get the hang of it. So I did make carrot bacon again after my last disaster, and it turned out much better. 12 minutes was definitely the sweet spot.
Great.
See, so it's all good. We learn from the oopses.
So I'm going to see how well this applies. I do have one of my makeup brushes here. And I'm just going to see how well it goes on and how close it is to my skin tone. I feel like it's just still a little bit light, but we'll find out. It smells really good. I smell like chocolate. So something to be careful with is it will like get powder everywhere. And then so I don't know. I've done this half of my face as opposed to this one. So there's not a huge difference in it. It definitely just helped matte my face. It makes it a little less red. It's really warm in my apartment, so my face is just going to naturally be red right now. So yeah, it's not like a super coverall. It's not going to last all day, but it's definitely something nice to just throw on if you're going out. I don't know. It also works as perfume because now I smell like a chocolate cake.
I think most of the examples that I found was like, you know, really light coverage and obviously a natural, like a softer look.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you're going out, maybe these aren't the products you end up using. But I think they're a good place to start, especially if you if you do wear makeup every day and if you're trying to lessen like the chemical use in your life or just looking for alternatives. I mean, you can kind of tell. Yeah. Again, you're really far away from it, you know.
I know, maybe you're a glossy person like I am, and you just need a way to matte your face during the day. Take down a little bit of the redness. You know, it's a good everyday of what I'm doing, or just going out and about.
How does it feel?
It feels really nice. Like the arrowroot is nice and soft. I definitely don't feel like I have like flour or anything on my face.
It doesn't feel like too heavy or anything?
I don't feel anything, so.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, like some foundation powders can be, you know, or if you a cream foundation, like that can feel really heavy after a while and just like cakey on your skin almost like. Mm-hmm. So, Claire, would you try this one?
I would try this one again. I definitely think I'm going to try a little bit darker, maybe play around with, I found some recipes for making it cream-based, if you prefer a cream-based foundation, other things like that. The fun thing about this is, like, once you have it, you can dress it up however you need to. If you tan during the summer, you need to make it a little bit darker, and you can just add more into it. Instead of having, like, 6 palettes of really expensive makeup just sitting around, you can just add to your pantry and figure it out from there.
Your summer mountain.
Exactly.
I am pale. Nice. So Claire, we shared recipes with each other, like everyone she's making. And it was really nice that it kind of gave you a guide of like, use this to give it this color and use this to give it, you know, so that you can blend and adjust based exactly on your skin tone, is really nice, you know, because it wasn't until recently that they started making a wide variety of shades, you know, from one to the other. So that's hugely important, you know, customizable.
Yes.
We like it.
Definitely. And then something that's a little bit easier is to make a blush, and that's basically just going to be arrowroot. And then I have 2 different options. I happen to have some freeze-dried strawberries laying around. And I saw that berries or freeze-dried fruit can also be used the same. So if you want like a lighter pink, like salmon-y blush, you can add that. Or you can try again with the arrowroot and beet powder. So I'm just going to mix this up real quick to kind of give you an idea of what that looks like. I'll use the beet. We'll see how this works. I think this one is going to be more beet powder to arrowroot powder.
The idea behind the beet is that it gives it a more pink tint, right?
Yeah, it's going to give it more of like a dark, like a purplier blush.
Oh, nice.
So I know like when I wear blush, I tend to do more of like a purple, just because I do have that more of like a yellow tint to my skin, as opposed to like pink or red or like darker browns. And then get my blush brush.
Blush brush, blush
Yeah.
brush. Say that 10 times fast,
Blush
right?
brush.
Brush. I have to keep adjusting my tea kettle. That's why I keep disappearing, because I'm going to use the hot water
Yeah.
for my experiment. Check it out.
So for this first one, I probably added a bit too much arrowroot compared to the beet, but adds a little bit, but not a whole lot. Again, very kind of like natural look, almost not there. So I definitely would probably add more beet powder to kind of see where it would go. But that's how you make blush. It's basically like foundation, except you use all of the pink or all of the purple.
It's one.
Yeah. If you want to make a bronzer, it's the same thing: arrowroot and cocoa powder. Maybe add in a little bit of turmeric or like a lighter brown spice that's good for your skin. So it's really easy, really cheap, and all natural.
Exactly. That's what we're going for.
Yeah.
I saw a couple recipes with nutmeg to get a darker shade. But again, someone should verify that before they put it on their face.
Yep.
Not an expert. We're scripting.
All right, so that's all I had before we move on to our last product. So, Gabby, you have something to show us, don't you?
Yeah. So, I want to make makeup remover. I am definitely the person who goes to sleep with my makeup on more often than I should. I know, I'm sorry. I don't like the makeup, the wipes, because they're disposable and bad sustainable things. So we're going to try to make our own. This one, the most common ingredient is coconut oil, so that's what I'm going to use today, but there are a few things we need to talk about it. But another common ingredient instead of coconut oil is jojoba oil. Most people will use that if their skin doesn't like if it doesn't go well with coconut oil, if it is too heavy for your skin, or if you just need a break from it, because coconut oil does have a different consistency for different people. The other part is that it typically needs to be fractionated coconut oil if you're using it for cosmetics, which is basically virgin coconut oil that has been distilled, super much, and you're left with a really light, permanently liquid coconut oil, and it's a lot easier for your skin to absorb. So, unfortunately, I don't have that, but I'm going to show you can make it if you do have virgin cosmetic grade coconut oil. So the tricky part about using this kind is that I didn't grab a spoon. That's one. The tricky part is that this will solidify at low temperatures. So like you can see, this is a mostly solid jar. It's a little liquid, it'll just you don't want to microwave your solid oil. So what we're going to do is I have a big bowl. Add some super hot water. That's why I kept adjusting my tea kettle. And then I have a little bowl. And I'm going to scoop more than I need for this project because I need it for our next one also. So you're probably going to be like, that's a lot of coconut oil. And it is! But we're not going to use all of it for makeup remover. Okay, and then I'm going to take the bowl of coconut oil and put it in the bowl of hot water. You might have to kind of stir it around a little to help it melt. But you don't want to microwave it because that it breaks apart the fatty acid chains in the wrong way and it loses all the nutrients. Science. So we're going to let that melt a little bit. The second ingredient, because most of the makeup removers are like 2-ingredient DIY. Hooray, love it. Love the simple things. And the most common other ingredients, so you have your oil base, whether it's coconut oil, jojoba oil, avocado almond, whatever. Pick the one that you have accessible to you, and that matches what your skin can tolerate and your preference. And then most of the times they either add witch hazel, which I have an image of here, or vitamin E oil. So the witch hazel is typically used as a cleanser. So if you want to combine that with the coconut oil, you'll get kind of a lighter cleansing feeling. And then the vitamin E is just like super moisturizing, really awesome and refreshing for your skin. So I have used witch hazel as a cleanser plenty of times before. So we're going to try the vitamin E as our second ingredient. And my jar is over here. Doing great.
It's all nearby. Sometimes it's just not on hand.
The recipe that I'm using calls for a lot. I'm going to make it smaller. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of vitamin E oil. This jar is going to be too big for how much I'm making, but it's okay. And then this is melting very nicely. Stir, stir, stir. You actually see it? I don't know if you can see it.
I can see it.
Great, because I don't want to lose full of hot water.
Smart move.
So it's, right? It is, I need the half. This is like the weirdest range of measuring spoons I've ever seen because there's not a 1 tablespoon measurer. 2. Excellent. So I only made, guys, I made a teeny tiny bit because part of it is vitamin E oil can be expensive. People use it a lot. It's recommended a lot for like helping with scarring. So like that's why it was in our house, recovering from stuff. So I'm not going to use a ton of it. But I am going to test it with the most pigmented sticking makeup that I own. So I'm a fan of super intensely colored lipsticks. So this one is bright purple.
Such an awesome shade.
Oh, thanks. Alright. And I really love this lipstick because obviously it is a super bright color. Look at this. Hi. But it also super sticks. So we'll talk about that in next week's episode, why I use this one. But that also means it's hard to get off. So I have this is my makeup remover rag because like that I don't use the disposable wipes, which also means I don't use cotton rounds because I'm a crazy person about sustainability. So it's my like designated rag that I just wash over and over again. So I'm gonna pour my makeup remover just a little bit on my rag. Ooh, it's really thick. Okay, I mean, just use 2 really thick oils. So now we test it, and we go. Oh, I'm a little shy. It tastes kind of good. That came off really easily.
Yeah.
Hi.
I will.
My lips feel really smooth.
I'll have to share. There's I made a very similar makeup remover, also using coconut oil, and I think I used grapeseed oil. I use when I do theater, I use really thick, really heavy makeup, and I have a photo of before and after of using it. So
I love the one. It was on just like one swipe, so you can see the difference. But I really only just like rubbed off, like wax on, wax off.
Exactly.
But I feel really good, and my lips feel really moisturized right now, so I'm thinking that if this is like your, before bed, it's also moisturizing.
Yes.
Okay, I can make this one again, because coconut oil you can get by giant jars.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Do what you gotta do. And I has never been, like, too freaked out by coconut oil repeatedly used. I think with witch hazel would be a good, like, a way to switch it up. If I needed to have a break from being so moisturized. Okay.
I'm pretty. If you have like acne-prone skin, like I do, adding tea tree oil to the mix also really helps. So there's lots of ways to mix and match it.
Tea tree essential oil is really, again, make sure it is skin safe, but it's really used for treating like bacteria things. So a lot of people use it for if you have a cold or the flu, or if you have a bug bite or a skin rash, something like that. So it is definitely a helper with acne. Like, hey, you're looking at two adults who struggle. Like, A, no shame. B, like, we all do it. Okay? So I think it's awesome that they make products that really help you conceal it if that is what you need to do. But you can also not and still be a perfectly fine, acceptable human being. Positivity for the day. Let's move on. My dog is laying over here and she keeps looking at me like, you're in the kitchen and there's no food. What are you doing? I'm sorry.
All right. Are we moving on to our last thing here?
So Claire is going to make, we'll start with that. We're making a lip product right now, both of us. Like we said, we're using different recipes and different ingredients. So mine is going to be a little bit more of a gloss stain concept, because again, it only has like 2.5 ingredients, like 3, but they're the same kind. And it's, again, using coconut oil as the majority of it, and coconut oil is not like a stain, it's not thick like your lipstick, so it will be more of a lip gloss.
Yes. Or mine is going to be a tinted lip balm because I had access to a few more ingredients because of a program we did back in February. Way back when.
Yes.
So I already have.
Do you have to melt?
What's that?
You have to melt more things? Cause go first, because mine's melted.
No, I actually pre-melted all of my things while you were talking. I prepped. And awesome. So what I have here is a teaspoon of beeswax, making sure that it is food grade beeswax, a teaspoon of shea butter, and a teaspoon of coconut oil. Again, you can use grapeseed oil, you can use jojoba oil, you can use avocado oil, almond oil, whatever kind of oil you want. Coconut oil is, yeah, there's a ton of different options depending on your preference, what's available to you. So that's what I used. This, I just had a small mason jar. I boiled a pot of water, stuck that in there, and watched everything melt, stirring occasionally. That's why you kept seeing me disappear, was I was checking on my milk. So now everything is all nice and melted together.
Mm-hmm.
For my container, I have this old lip gloss jar that I'm going to be using. So.
Okay, and you're using beet splitter, right?
I'm using beet juice. Yes. Beet
is your coloring agent. Okay, yes. I have to doctor mine out real quick. So my coloring agent is berries. That's eating. So this recipe, nice BuzzFeed, is 5 blackberries and 5 raspberries. And 1 for eating. Just kidding, 2. Okay. That's only 4. And then it says to microwave them, let's see, for 30 seconds. I've never microwaved a berry, but we're gonna find out.
Get them nice and squishy and juicy.
Right, that's the idea.
So I just happen to have this old, cosmetic jar. That's a great use. Like if you want to start making your own, yes, you can use Tupperware, you can use Pyrex to store your stuff. But if you have like old containers and jars, all you have to do, like if you have an old lipstick tube that you want to use, just throw it in some boiling water, melt out all of the old chapstick or lipstick, and you have everything that's you need. So reuse what you have. You don't have to go and buy a million of these little things.
Yes. One thing to be aware of when you're making research and making your own cosmetics is that essential oils or like things with essential oils in them should not be stored in plastic because it will degrade the plastic.
Yes.
And then that plastic will be like, you might get a hole in it and you'll leak everything all over. Super messy.
Yeah.
The other potential is that you're just like putting all of that lovely BPA into your skin.
Yeah.
So essential oils and plastic are not friends.
Nope.
I'm gonna get my berries.
Sounds good.
Ew, it like exploded. No, but like a raspberry is like a cone. It just kind of went like bleh. Okay, then it says to mush it up. Oh, it says press juice, but that just means mush it up.
There you
So
go.
I have a nice big spoon. I'm just gonna squish it. And I'm gonna add these berries to my smoothie later because they're already smushed.
Ta-da!
Right? Sustainability win.
See, that's the
This
nice
is
thing
weird.
about it, is you can just continue to reuse all of your products. Like, now I have beet chips to eat later.
Right? Because you dehydrated them.
Mm-hmm.
One thing about the recipe that I use, because the next thing I'm going to do is add coconut oil to the juice. The video I watched just poured it right in, even though it's like chunky. I'm going to separate them first and then add my coconut oil, because like I said, I want to use the smushed up berries later, not just grab them. So, I'm going to grab another bowl.
One useful kitchen tool to have when you're making this is a strainer or a sifter, especially if you're grinding beets or strawberries or whatever, because this is going to help you make a really super fine powder that's going to mix better, and so you won't have random floating chunks of random things.
Yeah, this is going to be questionable.
Yeah.
I need a beer spoon.
I'm interested to see how this works out, because it seems really great in all of the photos that I've seen, but I know from high school chemistry that water and oil don't mix, and juices from fruits and vegetables are water-based. So we're going to see how this goes and see if BuzzFeed has been lying to us this whole time.
I mean, I probably wouldn't pick it as my first source for reliability. Although, accurate on which Harry Potter house I am, like, let's be real.
Yeah.
Alright, what are you doing right now?
I was reading some comments. Sorry. That's what I do. Not paying attention to you. Elizabeth Huff says that these look more delicious than lip smackers, and that is true, because you should not eat chapstick. This one, you could. I wouldn't advise it, but you could. Another nice thing about this is it follows, there's a new trend in the beauty world of, the concept that your skin is your largest organ, so don't put anything on your body you wouldn't put in your mouth. So.
Oh my god. Why did I not connect this sooner?
Yeah.
That's
like a big thing I've been seeing on blogs. Like, if you can't pronounce it and you wouldn't put it in your mouth, why would you put it on your body?
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So I have this lovely pile of leftover berry mush smoothie. And this is mostly due to the like raspberries are mostly seeds, so I will admit that there's a little bit of chunk in there, but I don't think that would be like what I'm applying it with, so I'm not too worried. Okay, and then so I have my berry juice, and then it says 1 teaspoon of coconut oil. Okay, 1 teaspoon. Okay, I know that that's not how you do that. It's from the fairy godmother's trying to make the cake, and she goes, tis. 1 tis.
Alright, I'm gonna add a teaspoon of my beet juice to my beeswax, shea butter, and coconut oil mix and see what happens.
Weird.
Ooh.
I'm trying to stir it, but like we just said, chemistry, you don't exactly mix.
My really cold beet juice, when I added it, surprise, surprise, turned it chunky. So I'm gonna go dip this back in my hot water.
Okay. So then I have stirred it the best that I can. I don't know. And I have, so like Claire said, use what you have. So this had a basic like beeswax lip balm in it long time ago. I cleaned it up, boiled it, so it's nice and clean. And I'm gonna pour my berry juice and coconut oil into this tiny thing. I'm going to spittle. It's what I do best. Oh boy.
We never said that we were neat here on this channel. We just said we're here to try fun things we find on the internet that we think you might want to try as well. That being said, if there's something that you have been seeing on the internet that you want to try, but you would like us to try it first, feel free to send it to us. We love doing this.
We'll do the first test run for you. Okay. Nailed it. It's all in this tiny little container, but it needs to sit a little and kind of solidify so that it can be, spread. I really don't know if it's going to solidify in time to actually continue this, but we'll give it a go anyway. Yeah. We are not neat on this show, so that's okay. Reminded me I was for episode, and I always get really covered in paint whenever I use painting. Like whenever I do painting projects, it always ends up on me. So I say, I want my art. So one of the projects.
I'm still cleaning up flowers from past projects. It's fine. Don't be afraid to make a mess. Take chances, make mistakes, and prepare to get messy. Miss Frizzle, for anyone who may not know.
The magic school bus. Because I eat the ingredients.
Alright, and I'm melting mine down for just a second more.
I'm going to put this in the fridge to see if that helps solidify it. What process or what step are you at?
I am re-melting down my materials to see if the beet juice will mix in better.
Gotcha. I mean, it looks colorful.
Yeah. So if it turns out that making makeup out of your pantry isn't your jam, which is totally cool, and you still want to support other makeup companies that maybe are making, sustainable choices or cruelty-free choices, there's plenty of ways that you can go about researching how to make sustainable choices, how to make choices that are better for your skin, better for the environment, just making some better choices for yourself. There's a ton of different things that you can look into. The first and foremost is making sure that it's Leaping Bunny certified. So it has that cute little bunny on it. And that means that it's been certified, that it's not been tested in a facility that tests on animals.
Yep.
So,
so one thing, so it'll have the little, I'm not gonna get that close, but like it will oftentimes have the little leaping bunny on the product itself. And if you're unsure, the answer is to look it up. So Leaping Bunny has an inner guide with like every single cosmetic related product, company, and whether or not they are cruelty free. And you can find information on that at leapingbunny.org. And that list is put together by the CCIC, which is the Coalition for Consumer Information on Cosmetics.
Oh, yes. Otherwise, just go to your favorite brand and check out their website. If chances are, if they're Leaping Bunny cruelty-free certified, they're proud of it, and it's plastered all over their website.
It will be very obvious because companies, they have to go through a very lengthy testing process, and there are a lot of qualifications, sure, to get that Leaping Bunny logo. So it's going to be really obvious when you go research that company. But you will notice that there are some variations of bunny logos on cosmetic brands. And while they mostly mean the same thing, there are different degrees of cruelty-free. So be sure to look up differences so that you're not confused, you're not being tricked, nothing like that. And that you're making the best choices according to standards and life. So, cruelty-free is step one. Another driving factor in a lot of cosmetics is whether or not they are vegan. And a refresher is vegan means no animal byproducts. So that will include things like beeswax. There's like shark extract oil in a lot of lipsticks. Didn't know that until I was researching this.
Yeah.
Like, what? I don't know. So again, do your research and look up those if that is something that is important to you also. And then the next one, which a lot of people influences a lot of people to make their own, is the chemical content of cosmetics. There are some chemicals to look for, so I can't remember all of them because they are really weird names, and that's that whole like, if you can't put it, don't put it on your face, right? So there are things like platelets,
Parabens?
It's like PTH.
Yeah.
That's the second one. Parabens, there's a lead in cosmetics still, like, what?
Yeah.
So just like be thorough, I know it's a trend where this YouTuber is super awesome and does cool things with beauty products, and they like this one best. And it doesn't mean it's the best one for you or for the world.
Yeah. So, it's like with all things. Do your research. If there are things that you care about, be sure to do your research on them. Look for credible sources. If you need help finding credible sources, you can always contact a librarian. We'll be happy to, send you through any kind of guides or help you find some resources on that. Other things to keep in mind, especially if you're looking for a sustainable company, is seeing if they use post-consumer recycles when they in all of their packaging. Something that is a huge impact is a lot of like the packaging and the cute little compacts that they come in, or even the brushes themselves. Most makeup brushes can't be recycled, even if they are made of plastic.
Yeah, like your mascara tubes and your mascara wands, those can't be recycled or even thrown away like responsibly. So there is a fun thing that you can do with your mascara wand is when you're done, your tube is empty. That's one you use rather than a fancy one. You can wash it and then send it to, I was going to look up the name, but I didn't. Basically, animal rescue group uses recycled mascara wands, like repurposed because he has hair, to help clean for feathers of animals who have been affected by oil spills, because it really helps like get in between their feather and furs. if I can find the address and
I'm
name,
pretty sure you can look up. Is it the WWE, the Worldwide Environmental? They have a ton of different lists and resources.
No.
Yeah.
Obvious one.
Yeah. So that's a great way of seeing them where they can go. Other things to keep in mind, especially if it's a cause that's important to you, is making sure that your cosmetics aren't made with palm oil or palm oil extracts. That is a huge contributor to deforestation, endangering orangutan habitats. There are a ton of different resources online that are research-based that you can see the impact of palm oil and find brands in cosmetics and in other things that are non-palm oil. So that would really help as well.
So, I mean, and that's a huge factor is because it's pretty cool done, right? Yeah. There's a lot that goes into producing cosmetics, even at like a chemical level, on a hands level, packaging, all of those things. If you use a lot of cosmetics or you are really invested in making good, sustainable choices, like guys, do your research. Mm-hmm. It's all there for you. Because someone else cares about it too and has done that work. So, yeah. All right. Do we cover the things? Cruelty-free, vegan, organic?
Those are big causes. But there's a ton of other different things that you could care about. So again, do your research, see what's important to you. Be sure to support the people who have similar causes to you to make sure that they can keep going. But make sure it's all well researched and incredible. And again, ask your librarians if you need any help with that. That's us.
And Claire. I don't know what's Andrea.
I'm on this side.
Okay. Hi. Okay. Is your stuff ready?
Nope.
Alright. I'm gonna look at mine. Like I'm so excited. I wanna try it, you know?
Right. Mine did it like separated, essentially.
Oh no.
So I'm gonna see if it will mix.
Does anybody have any questions about what we've done today, or share experiences making your own DIY makeup? Tell us the things while we wait for our colorful lips to be ready.
Anyone you're looking forward to trying yourself?
That too. There was one for eyeliner that I wanted to try, but I did not have activated charcoal at this moment. But it looked pretty easy, and it looked pretty. I mean, activated charcoal will make it super tinted right away.
Right.
There is no, over not.
Yeah, I saw a really cool one for mascara too that uses some sort of clay and then activated charcoal and a little bit of beeswax, so you can get the rise in your lashes.
Yeah. Nice. Great. My dog is making weird noises, so I have to just pee for 2 seconds.
All right, sounds good. I'm gonna check on our comments here. So hello, thanks for joining us. We have Mary, Evan, and Elizabeth. So hopefully all of you will have fun trying out these new products. I'm kind of liking now versus the beginning now of how the powder is setting. I still haven't noticed that it's there, except I don't have like a blatant glare across my face.
The foundation made?
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, I think mine is pretty much set.
Okay.
So, science did happen, and the liquid beet juice separated from the lip balm that I created. I don't know if there's a way to make that not happen, but I just kind of like poked a little hole in the center, so I have some of the beet juice now like on it. So I'll still have this stain of the beet juice versus this. So we'll see how this goes.
Okay, so I'm using a Q-tip to kind of poke at it and see what consistency. And that turned really red. So, so much.
Did it go flying?
Well, hush you.
That's okay.
It's all natural. Oh, it tastes really weird.
I'm trying to get more of the beet juice, but...
Yeah, okay. So, I put it on, and also on my floor. It's all good. There's like a teeny tiny tint, but more the kind of tint where I drink red Kool-Aid, and rather than like put on of any extent. It's really soft though, like it feels real smooth.
That's how mine is. Like mine's a little bit darker. You can kind of see, like especially compared to my hair, makes it seem a little bit darker.
That helps, right?
So, no, you're not going to get that beautiful roller derby glam pop purple out of this, but it's a nice everyday wear. Gives a nice tint. The beet juice does stain it a little bit darker.
It felt like really drippy on my lips, so I said I just licked them. Which I removed it. But like, it tastes like berries, so I'm not too mad that I just did that.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, I don't know what's going on today, but hey, it's an experiment.
Indeed.
Yeah. It's okay. It's a job.
Mine tastes a little bit weirder because it is beet juice instead of berry juice. So.
I don't like that.
There, I'm gonna try storing this upside down for a while and see if that maybe makes a difference. For the next.
Like separate. Down. There you go.
But yeah, to make a lip au naturel.
I would definitely make the makeup remover in like an actual batch and use that on a regular day, but I am not making this bare tint. I don't know, I mean, it didn't. Again, we are experimenting, so we're not disappointed by any means, but I didn't expect it to really gain that much because it's just coconut oil and berries, like,
I would continue to use mine because it is still a lip balm, and that's because I added the beeswax to it, so it stays a little bit better. The shea butter is going to make it more moisturizing. You can use vitamin E oil if you have that instead. So, but otherwise, if anything, I smell delicious.
right? Super soft. Super soft. Love that coconut oil.
Very soft.
All I needed was some coconut.
Yeah.
We're done. Well, we did, and it wasn't that hard, so I'm pleased and definitely willing to do it again.
Yeah.
So, minus the tiny puddle on my floor, I call this a success.
Yes, I have powder all over my kitchen, but it was worth it.
No.
Be prepared to have fun and make a mess. So, let us know.
I shouldn't.
So let us know if you've tried any of these, if you had better success, if you've learned from our mistakes, or if you have any other questions or find any other cool things. Again, this whole month we will be making it up. So stay tuned next week where Gabby is going to have an awesome video for us. I'm super excited about
special guests.
And special guests, yes. This month we will be having some special guests on our Try-Brarians who are going to be sharing some of their expertise and trying out things with us as well. So
that's a good point, Claire. Just a heads up that next Wednesday's episode is going to be on YouTube instead of Facebook Live.
Yes. So it will be next week and the following week. It will be on YouTube Premiere. We'll be making it live over there. So stay tuned for it over there. We'll be sure to link and remind all of you so we won't forget.
Exactly. And
so, any other final words?
we're making up. We've got a good catchphrase for this month, right?
Yeah, making it up.
Very hard, so I feel pretty good about it. All right.